Apologies for the other glitch if you attended it. Today is January 26th, 2024. It is currently 11:23 p.m. and today we are talking about motivation. Specifically, the title of the podcast is Motivation I Don't Feel Like It Syndrome. Now, what does that mean? Well, I mean, when the weekend comes, a lot of us don't feel like doing anything, do we? A lot of us kind of just want to sit back and relax, sip our favorite glass of water, sip our favorite glass of juice, or whatever your favorite glass of whatever it is, and just kind of forget about life. Well, this is going to change today because I'm going to be discussing. And if this is something that you struggle with, if you struggle with motivation during the weekend in order for you to maintain productivity, because this is the way that for you to differentiate yourself to gain that competitive advantage for you to actually become the best, is for you to take advantage of the weekend. And I'm going to discuss 3 sure way steps that you will see that light that fire under your bum so that you can get the weekend off to a great start. And there is no better way for me to do that than for me to present the 9th podcast at 11:24 p.m. on a Friday, just to show you that dedication has no limitation. Before we continue, this podcast is sponsored by Spinati Dentistry, and Spinati Dentistry is located on London and London. Spinati Dentistry is located in London on Hyde Park in Sarnia. It is just across from Tim Hortons. It's a wonderful clinic, and they cater to families and cosmetic dentistry. There is actually an incredible manager there and incredible staff there. And there's a doctor that is speaking to you right now that is trying to promote Spinati Dentistry. This is a little bit of a humorous take because, Fridays, although I maintain full seriousness all the time, Fridays we can be a little bit lighthearted. So if you feel so inclined to check out Spinati Dentistry, which are the 2024 Consumer Choice Award winners, and amongst other accolades, check them out. You will be ecstatic that you did. Back to the topic about motivation. Motivation specifically on the weekend, and specifically when you say to yourself, I just don't feel like it. How can you get yourself from going, I don't feel like it, to I am going to kill this in a good way? I'm going to go through this with you. 3 steps. Step number 1, and this is like the quintessential step of all steps, is to clarify your goals. Yeah, Dr. Spinati, I understand. Clarify your goals, resolutions. Sure. What the heck does that even mean? It means that you have to have a really good plan. And if your plan isn't good, then how the heck are you going to achieve anything? I remember in dental school, we had this professor who we made fun of a lot because after or before every single lecture, she put up the slide at the beginning of every single lecture without a single exception. She put up a slide that said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And she gave us a pep talk for 5 minutes every single lecture before the lecture. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And it's absolutely true. Yes, it was annoying to see it every single lecture, but it is so true. And now, many years later, it's literally ingrained in my head. It's ingrained in my brain. If you fail to plan, you're actually guaranteeing failure. So the surest way for you to get motivation on the weekend, in order for you to maintain that kind of, that spice, that motivation, that grit, is for you to review your goals and to get clear on the goals. Now, the first thing, in order for you to clarify the goals, is for you to have a deadline. A lot of us have a wish. A lot of us don't actually have a deadline. A lot of us say, I want to become, I want to be better. So let's say, for instance, you're a bread maker and you're watching this and you're like, yeah, I want to make more bread. This year, my plan is to make more bread. I want to make more bread. But what does that mean? How much bread is more? So if you just say, yes, I just want to make more. Okay, I want to make more. I want to just focus on making a lot more bread. Well, if you don't have a deadline, you don't have a set number, then you have nothing. And I know I keep saying this, but this is literally the thing that's going to get you motivated, because when you see your numbers increasing towards your goal, that's going to juice you. So the first thing is, in clarifying your goals, is set a deadline. And a deadline includes numbers. Now, the second thing is to assess what you've done right and what you've done wrong in the past 7 days. That's all falls within clarifying your goals. Because if your goals are clear, and then all of a sudden now you're going back and you're saying, well, 3 of the 7 things that I planned worked, 4 of them didn't, and you try to assess why they didn't, now you're on the path towards a trajectory of success. And this will light even, more fire under your bum. And the last thing is for you to make sure that you understand why it's important for you to revise the importance of that goal for you. There is an equation, and I'm not going to say the equation because someone once taught me and they said that if you present any equation in any presentation, you lose 50% of your audience. So the equation, which I'm not going to discuss, includes for the value, includes the importance of why you're actually doing that thing. There is an equation for motivation, by the way. There is one. Okay. And it's studied and it's proven. And I'm not going to discuss it here. Maybe I'll leave it for another podcast. Or if you so wish to leave me a comment and ask for that equation, I will give it to you. But so that is the first step. Okay. So remember, I said there's 3 steps for you to be more motivated or for you to get rid of that I don't feel like it syndrome this weekend. The first is to be very clear with your goals. The second is to increase your focus. Focus is everything. Where focus goes, energy flows. So if you're going to be focused on something, you better believe that your energy is going to go directly there. The worst thing that you could do is compare yourself to other people. That's the worst thing because that's where your focus is going to go. And unfortunately, your energy goes there. And when we compare ourselves to other people, what happens is that our energy gets drained. I mean, how motivated do you feel when you see someone else doing a lot better than you and you kind of forget all the struggles that they've been through because now they're flaunting it. They're like, okay, well, look at me, look how rich I am, look how successful I am, look how, fit I am. But you don't understand all the disciplinary things that they had to go through in order for them to attain it. So the first step in order for you to actually increase your focus is to stop comparing yourself to other people. The second thing is to normalize challenges and understand that setbacks and for you to actually have self-doubt is completely normal. So if you're actually experiencing that, you're feeling down or whatever, and you're like, it's not working or things are not working or failed many times, it's just part of the process. So understanding and accepting it, that it is part of the process is a step towards increasing your focus. And lastly, and this is probably one of the hardest things for us to do, is to delay gratification. Embracing delayed gratification is the surest way towards success. Someone once said that the more gratification that you delay, the higher your chances of success. The more chances that you will be able to succeed equates to the amount of times that you delay gratification. So those are the first 2 things, which is clarify your goals and get focus or increase your focus. Now, the third thing is to optimize your habits. As you and I both know, habits are everything. How we do anything is how we do everything. So one thing that I know for a fact, and if you were to think about this, you'll also agree with me, is that in order for you to change your life, all you have to do is you have to change one thing that you do consistently every single day. So in other words, and this is the easiest thing for me to think of because it is very applicable and you can probably change it starting tomorrow morning. If you were to say to yourself this year, in 2024, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. So if you don't have a habit of waking up at 5 a.m., let's say you wake up at 5:30, and you say to yourself, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day from now until the end of the year, you will see your life change simply because you've introduced a habit that you're not used to. So if you change anything in your life, then you've actually changed your habit. If you change your habit, change even one small habit, then you've changed your entire life. Okay. Or at least you've changed your year until you go back to the habit of waking up at 9 a.m. or whenever you wake up usually. The second thing of optimizing your habit is to establish a routine. And this comes obviously with your habits. Is to establish a routine. So one of the things that I do, and this is a personal story, one of the things that I do is that I never compromise the time that I go to the gym, ever. It takes a lot for me to miss the gym. And if I miss the gym, I don't miss it in the day. I mean, I don't all of a sudden just don't go during the like I make sure that part of my day, the day will not be complete if I don't actually go to the gym. And I have made it so that I have to go to the gym before I go to work. So I have to actually exercise. I have to get my blood flow going. I have to sweat before I go to work. And that is a principle that I've applied for, a long time now. And that's what is a productive, that's what establishing a productive routine is that you set a time, and during that time it is non-negotiable. You will absolutely have to do that thing. So make sure that it's a short time frame, like a half an hour or an hour on a daily basis, that then you establish that type of routine so that you can optimize your habits. And lastly, in order for you to optimize your habits, it's good to listen to these kind of inputs. Listening to inputs of motivation or inputs of reminders for you to actually maintain that motivation is great. And it's great for you to optimize your habits. So for you listening to this podcast, you'll be motivated. And this is part of optimizing your habits. So these are the three takeaways for you to get rid of that "I don't feel like it" syndrome on the weekend. The first is to clarify your goals. The second is to increase your focus. And the third is to optimize your habits. Good luck to you, and may your weekend be full of productivity. Good night.